Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Now here's the thing. I don't know if it's because I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning, but at least for right now, maybe I've been going a little bit too hard on Nancy. Listen, she may not be my cup of tea as far as personality goes, but at the end of the day, she is a woman who has been married to this man for years. And not only, she found out, I mean, again, for me personally, I don't really, you know, regardless if, if he's cheating with another woman or she's cheating with a man, for me, it's wrong all the same because you're cheating on your wife. Um, I know she made a joke about it in this episode, and I was like, what? My point is that you know I've been looking at it from a point of annoyance. Her quirks, her laugh, her voice, whatever. But what I haven't been looking at is a woman that's in pain because she felt like she'd been betrayed and she felt like she failed. And that sucks. Um, and so Bonnie was there to sit there and listen to her. You know, Bonnie tried to fix her up with Ray. I feel like Nancy dodged a bullet. Now after that, Bonnie's like, we're gonna sit there and just give you a makeover and we'll get you on a dating app because Bonnie's like, listen, the best way to sit there and get over someone is to get in a relationship with somebody else. That's that's half right. You know, she is right in a certain sense. It's hard to move on from somebody else and you're still kind of stuck in the past unless you have something forward to move on to. But at the same time, sometimes people just gotta sit there and just take a beat, just chill, reassess. Um, sometimes people be in relationships so long that they don't see themselves as an individual anymore. They don't see the stuff that they used to like to do as an individual, what made them happy as a person. You know, um, and it's difficult to disconnect. I don't know if I'm sitting there saying it right because again, I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. But my point is, you have to kind of figure out what made you happy. What makes you you again. And feel like I'm still explaining it wrong. I know there's a point I'm trying to make, but you know, again, um, I'm not doing this again. Just not. But a lot of times people sit there and say you got to be happy with yourself before you can sit there and invite somebody else into your heart, and that is true. Um, yeah, I think that's what I was getting to. Anyway, long story short, they go over Bonnie's place, and Bonnie was sitting there saying, we got to sit there and do something with your hair. And at first, Nancy kind of takes that as like, what's wrong with my hair? But apparently, Nancy used to have red hair back in the day. So they do this whole makeover thing, and she comes out, and I'm just like, then she comes out, and I'm not gonna lie, like she definitely leveled up. She took off the glasses, and they did her hair nice and everything like that. I'm like, okay, all right, well, color me impressed. I'm impressed. Um, so it was actually kind of nice to seeing her smile again. I mean, after crying every day and feeling bad for yourself and feeling bad about the situation, you know, it was actually nice. I give him that. It was nice. Again, I'm wondering if this sudden change in mood is because I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, or because I kind of realized I've been kind of addicted. Um, Leo, whew, this guy used to get into some stuff. When Sonny and Will come over there and they're like, listen, we're not leaving till we have a word with you. And Sonny starts listing all the past transgressions that Leo has done. And this isn't like, oh, he just stole some money. I mean, like, he literally sat there, seduced Sonny, and then tried to, get him on charges of sexual harassment. And I'm like, bro, that is just completely and utterly messed up. On top of some of the other stuff that he's done. When I heard that, I was like, wow, you know, um, taking advantage of him when he was in a really vulnerable place after his divorce with Will, and knowing that he did that for money. Yeah, the guy was definitely a scumbag. Now, they Craig brings up his childhood, you know, and granted, no one should ever have to, had to have put up what he had to put up with. Between his dad being a POS and his mom being, I don't know who his mom was, but I'm pretty sure um, she was not really a help. She was not really, I imagine she probably wasn't a good person either. Um, I mean, hell, the guy actually went into escorting. So to sit there and say that he had a rough, a crappy childhood and crappy upbringing is putting it mildly. But with that being said, a lot of people have really bad pasts, bad history and bad upbringing and stuff like that, like really tragic backstories. But at the end of the day, you're an adult and you gotta sit there and start taking accountability for what you do moving forward. And so as bad as I felt for Leo, I was also like, bro, you're an adult. Like, you know the difference between right and wrong. And you practically have a history of screwing people over left and right. Now, with that being said, certain things depend on the person. Because we can all sit there and be like, all right, well, I can forgive you for this stuff. I can, realize that you grew after you did that. With Leo's case, I feel like there is, I can see redemption. With Ray's case, on the other hand, no, 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 no. The sad part is that he did, even if he did change certain things, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little kind of hard to look past. Um, he winds up bumping into Lonnie, and Lonnie's like, oh, I'm gonna be going to go take the twins, to Abe or whatever, to their grandfather. And of course, Ray's like, oh, you mean Abraham or Abe Carver, right? Like, I do my research. I'm like, no offense, bro, but I'm not gonna lie, that seemed a little kind of that for some odd reason that seemed like that kind of creeped me out a little bit. Like, are you doing so much damn research on her father for, or her father figure for? Just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Now Ray was like, listen, you want to meet me for a drink or whatever, and Lonnie's like, listen, it's a bad idea. Paulina said that it's a bad idea, and you don't really you just give me all sorts of bad vibes, so I'm good. So she pretty much is like, I'm good, and she, leaves, and she goes to Abe's. Now after well, Ray, he winds up going to Roman's bar, and that's when he meets up with he runs into Bonnie, and Bonnie's they're trying to set him up with um Nancy, and he's like, no, you know what? I mean, someone can't really do it right now. Like, I can't really do it. So he leaves, and of course Nancy feels embarrassed. I'm like, I can't believe I'm actually Smith is saying this, but damn, Bonnie, really? I get your heart was in the right place, but she's already dealing with a divorce and being cheated on, and now that whole look made it seem like he couldn't get away from her fast enough. Um, Now he's been there for a little bit, and he's just about to leave, and Lonnie comes in. And, Lonnie sits down and she's like, what, listen, don't read too much into it. It's just, let's just see how it goes. And she lays down some ground rules. Um, and one of those ground rules is like, yo, listen, I want to make sure that you change, because if I find out that you change, that you didn't change, we're going to have some problems. And, she puts it down like, yo, listen, under no circumstances is it ever okay to put hands on a woman. And I agree. I feel like this is something that I probably shouldn't sit there and say this, but I'm gonna say this anyway. I'm 100% with Lonnie on putting your hands on a woman, putting your hands on anyone in general. Um, Now, with that being said, there's a fine line, and I want to make this crystal clear because I know that no matter how elegant or how right I sit there and say this, there's always going to be that one person that's like, no, 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 no. You're stupid and you're a bad person. There's a fine line between defending yourself and you putting hands on a woman because you're attacking, you're being aggressor, and things of that nature. Because let's just be very clear about something. I've seen women that can literally kick men's asses like there is no tomorrow. Um, and there are cases where it turned out that the woman is the aggressor or the attacker in a relationship. It's rare, but it does happen. Um, so why I do 100% stand with Lonnie when she says you don't put hands on a woman, I'm like but you also don't sit there and stand there to be killed or knocked around or beaten on. There's a fine line between defense and you doing it because, well, let's be honest, you're an asshole. Um, but with that being said, she sits down. They start having dinner and stuff like that. And one of Lottie's quirks, I'm gonna call it quirks, that she likes to eat French fries, mayonnaise. Then she's like, yeah, she tells weird, like, yeah, I know it's a little kind of weird, but it's kind of like my thing. And she turns around and looks at Ray and it's like, are you grossed out or whatever? And Ray's like, oh no, I like to eat French fries with mayo too. I guess it's in the genes. And I'm like, bro, don't y'all having a moment? Just have it and move on. Do not sit there and start talking about it's in the genes because I mean, you've done some really bad things. And while granted, you could sit there and say, oh, it was the alcohol, it was the substance abuse, or it was the stuff. You still made those bad choices. So let's not start talking about genes and things of that nature, because I'm pretty sure in a couple episodes before, Lonnie was in there talking about, what if one of my sons, feels, or, what, actually, no, what if my son decides, he's has that in him of what Ray was doing. Now, of course, I'm not going to get into the debate of nature versus nurture, but, you know, like, bro, you're having a good time, you're enjoying time with your daughter, just, um, so Brady Black. The sad thing is that in the beginning, I kept saying that this was a stupid plan. And to be fair, this is a stupid plan. There's a fine line between Snitcher saying, listen, this is what kind of guy he is, this is the things they used to sit there and do, you know, do with the information as you will. But Brady's like, oh, well, I want to sit there, we got to sit there and break them up because, we got to sit there and say, we got to sit there and save Craig. I'm like, are you in high school? Like, seriously? Because I feel like this is something that people would do in high school. So anyway, Leo comes over there. Well, Leo is standing behind them while they're in the middle of talking. And, he sits down and they start asking him about, like, what does he do? And he starts talking about painting and things of that nature. And finally, Leo is like, all right, so are you going to sit there and keep asking me more questions about stuff that you have no interest in just to distract me long enough so that way Will and Sonny could sit there and do whatever it is that they came to do to badmouth me. Um, so at this point, Leo already knew. Leo knew, the whole plan of what they were going to sit there and do because, Brady Black and his plans that can never go wrong except for when they do. Yeah, I'm talking about the time that he wanted to try to dismantle Titan and act like none of that was going to come back on him. Granted, that was like the first time I started watching the soap opera and I saw him and I'm like, well, that's a stupid plan. Good times. And they sit there and call while you sit there and have a nickname for Sarah called a hot Sarah. Reasons, obviously. Um, anyway, so Leo, at this point he's like, yo, I know exactly what y'all doing. And of course, Leo starts bringing up Brady and his addiction and calling her Ghoul Girl. I'm assuming something must have happened to Chloe in her face because I do remember there was something talking about like she had this whole fan of the opera thing going on. So I think maybe that's where they got Ghoul Girl from. Of course, Jan Spears was probably the one that actually called her that, which is oh, Jan Spears, you know what? You're a headache for another day. So he starts name calling, and at this point he leaves, and Brady just kind of feels like an idiot. And later on, they all gather up, and Sonny and Will, like we were unsuccessful, and he's not listening to us, and he's pretty much made up his mind. Craig made up his mind, but Brady's like, no, we can't stop now. And Chloe's like, no, we gotta sit down. We gotta find a way to get rid of him from my dad because he's just gonna go after his money now. Truth be told, no, unless you got some type of inside information, we don't know if Leo has actually changed or is he just running another scam. And the reason why I feel like he's running another scam because if he's actually changed, like I'm sitting there trying to think of this from like maybe a writer's point of view, like which one would actually have the more bigger impact? Them being right all along and, Leo's really using Craig for his money or something else, or is he really changed and everyone's going to feel like an idiot and really bad for breaking them up? Like, which one would cause, I guess, the most hype or get people the most excited? And the sad part is that I feel like it's Leo not changing. Um, but to be fair, if he didn't change and he really does screw him over or tries to screw him over, you know, from Craig, I'm like, bro, literally everyone warned you about him, and you still practically told everyone to kick rocks because you knew it was best. So, all right, bro. So when I was sitting there making that example of like you got to sit there and do what makes you happy or whatever, the reason why I couldn't really, I guess, explain it too well was because there was a point in my life where that happened. Um, the problem with me trying to explain that was that when my friend was sitting there trying to tell me this, and I was just a wreck. I was also really drunk. So I don't remember exactly what he said word for word. And I'm sitting there trying to explain it now. I'm like, why can I not explain it so well? Oh yeah, I was drunk. So yeah. Um I guess I wanted to give an explanation of why I couldn't actually explain what I was trying to explain. But if any of that made sense, just thank you. I feel like that's about it. I know this came out super late. I'm really sorry. I was gonna go into this long explanation of why. Um, well, here's the thing. I might have been able to shave off a few minutes of like putting out a little bit earlier, but so the last review I did before that was Bold and Beautiful, and I did that on the app. And same thing with Days, because sometimes I watch Days on YouTube, and the copies on YouTube for Days have been trash. Like there was one point where it was great, and I felt like I didn't actually have to go on. Um, I felt like I didn't have to go on YouTube to sit there and watch it. But lately, who's ever been like dubbing it or re-uploading it looks bad. And it's like the same person who re-uploads Days is the same person who re-uploads GH. And they both look like trash. Um, and it was just, I didn't want to sit there and try to like kind of, because sometimes you don't even hear what they're saying. And I'm like, as a fan of the show, I want to be able to watch it and review it, but also just watch it to enjoy it. And I knew that I was like, yo, I can't sit there and go on YouTube. So it's like I had to kind of wait a little bit until it, came on Peacock, so I could sit there and watch it. And the same thing with Bold, B&B. I had to wait for it to be on Paramount to watch it, and of course I had to I had to sit there and log back in, which was fun. So, and this is 4 minutes, way too longer than I want it to be. So, with that being said, I want to thank everyone for watching. Like, truly, I want to really thank everyone for watching. Um, Hope everyone has a great weekend. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.